Most people who trained alongside Bruce Lee didn't last a week. Not because they lacked motivation. Not because they weren't athletes. Because what Bruce Lee considered a normal Tuesday would put most professional fighters in a hospital bed. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what his training looked like hour by hour. And you're going to have to ask yourself honestly, would you have made it to day 2? We throw around the phrase, train like Bruce Lee, so often that it's lost its meaning. It's become a slogan on gym walls and motivational videos, disconnected from what it actually required. This isn't going to be another highlight reel. This is going to be a real accounting of what his body went through day after day for years, so you can measure yourself against it honestly, not symbolically. Because there's a difference between admiring discipline from a distance and understanding exactly what it demanded. By the late 1960s, Bruce Lee had moved beyond traditional martial arts training into something closer to full-spectrum athletic conditioning, decades before cross-training became a mainstream concept. He studied Western boxing footwork, fencing distance and timing, weightlifting, and even research into muscle physiology, treating his own body as an ongoing science experiment. Those who trained with or observed him described multiple training sessions across a single day, combining strength work, cardiovascular conditioning, flexibility training, and technical martial arts drilling. He was known for extraordinary hand speed and explosive power, the product of years of highly specific, repetitive conditioning rather than raw natural gift. This wasn't training built around convenience or a fixed schedule. It was training built around the belief that any part of the body left unoptimized was a weakness waiting to be exploited. Here's the conflict at the center of the test: human limits versus willpower. The body has real physiological limits, recovery windows, injury thresholds, nutritional needs. Bruce Lee's approach to training often treated those limits as obstacles to be pushed against rather than boundaries to be respected. Training partners and students have described struggling to keep pace with drills he treated as warm-ups. That's the tension this video puts you inside. Not, could you throw a punch as fast as Bruce Lee? Almost no one could, then or now. The real question is smaller and more honest. Could you have sustained the mindset his training demanded, day after day, without quitting, without injury, without your body simply giving out? Most people don't know that Bruce Lee's training included significant attention to grip and forearm strength, developed through unconventional methods most gyms at the time didn't emphasize at all. Most people also don't know he was deeply interested in the science behind training, reading extensively on exercise physiology and nutrition at a time when that kind of research-driven approach to martial arts was almost unheard of. And few people realize how much of his training happened in isolation, not in front of cameras or students, but alone, refining details most people would never think to notice. What actually separates someone who could sustain training like this from someone who couldn't? It's rarely raw physical toughness. Psychologists who study extreme discipline point to something more specific: an unusually high tolerance for discomfort combined with a refusal to let short-term pain change long-term intent. Most people quit not because their body physically fails, but because their mind negotiates an exit first. This is enough for today. I'll make it up tomorrow. Bruce Lee's mindset, by all accounts, didn't allow that negotiation. The absence of an internal off-ramp is what made his training sustainable for him. It's exactly the thing most people significantly underestimate when they imagine training like Bruce Lee. That's the real test, not your muscles, your internal negotiation with discomfort. This same pattern shows up in other extreme discipline figures across history, endurance athletes and elite performers who describe the exact same phenomenon. The difference between those who reach elite levels and those who plateau usually isn't genetics. It's whether they let their mind talk them out of the next rep. The specifics differ by discipline, but the underlying test is identical everywhere it appears. Can you keep going when every reasonable internal voice is telling you that you've already done enough? So, could you have survived it? Here's how to actually think about that honestly. First, most people overestimate their physical ceiling and underestimate their mental one. The limiting factor usually isn't your body failing. It's your mind deciding to stop before your body actually has to. Second, Specificity matters more than intensity alone. Bruce Lee's training wasn't just hard. It was extremely targeted, refined over years of self-study. Blind intensity without that kind of precision is a fast route to injury, not mastery. Third, sustainable discipline requires listening some of the time. The version of this mindset worth adopting isn't never stop, ever. It's know exactly why you're continuing, and make sure it's not just ego. That distinction is what separates productive obsession from destructive obsession. If this made you rethink what real discipline actually requires, subscribe. We're breaking down the true mindset behind history's most demanding training regimens. Comment below. Be honest. How many days do you think you'd have lasted? And tell us which mindset we should put to the test next.